Championship Wrestling, bringing you great wrestling action sanctioned by the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance.
Hi, everybody. This is World Championship Wrestling. Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross, ringside with the NWA, the Major League of Professional Wrestling. And what a great program they have for him here today, Jim, including our first event, Freebird Michael P.S. Hayes against one of the Russian Assassin number 2.
Well, you know, Tony, Michael Hayes has really set the NWA on its air. He's a really electrifying athlete, and we'll see him in one-on-one competition here in just a moment.
Our first look right here on the Superstation at Hacksaw Butch Reed, a great athlete coming back to the NWA.
Hacksaw Butch Reed is indeed a great athlete, one of the most powerful men in wrestling. He'll be coming to the ring by J.J. Dillon. That in itself is a big story.
The varsity club here, we're talking about the Games Master, Kevin Sullivan, Mike Rotunda, in a big tag team event right here today on the Superstation.
And as many of the fans know, Tony, the varsity club in the six-man competition will be involved with the Road Warriors and Abdul the Butcher in the not-too-distant future. Of course, they do want, Rick Steiner wants another match with Mike Rotunda. Rotunda wants a match with Rick Steiner. We'll talk more about that in the hour.
Now let's bring in a young man right here, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. It was last week, Eddie, that you walked out with a lot of confidence about your mystery partner. He's here today, I understand, in this big tag team event. You still have that confidence from last week?
I'm more confident today, Tony, because he is here. I know James J. Dillon, Windham Ric Flair are here. I want everybody out there to know, if you're not sure if somebody's watching the Superstation, call them. Tell them to turn it over. They're going to see the biggest shock and the biggest surprise of their life today.
You're confident, Jim Ross?
Well, he's still very, very confident, fans. It's going to be a tremendous hour here on Superstation TBS. And now let's get ready for our first match. Michael Hayes and Russian Assassin number 2.
Okay, back with Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert at the top of the program. You still got a smile on your face, I know. Big match coming up against Ric Flair and Barry Windham right here today on TV with your mystery partner. But I think, Eddie, we need to go back and take a look at one of the situations leading to this moment. And I know we take a look at it right now. It's not a pleasant situation for you, but it's one that we do need to take a look at and have it right here on the Superstation. Let's go to it right now.
Now Eddie Gilbert is helpless right now at the hands of Flair and Barry Windham. Gilbert had turned the corner. He had turned the corner. Momentum was in his favor. This is totally uncalled for. The champion of the world and the U.S. champion, the horseman of J.J. Dillon, double teaming Eddie Gilbert, and it is certainly distasteful here. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever for this to occur.
Humiliation at the hands of the horsemen, and I don't know what caused them to do something like that. Obviously, it was the fact that Eddie Gilbert would not go down. J.J. would not be beaten at all. As you see the world champion smiling, giving the okay sign to the U.S. champion.
A lot of things we can say about it. Humiliation, I know, embarrassment for you, having the boots put up to you by 2 men. It's very easy to get a 2-on-1, Eddie, as you know.
That's right, Tony. You know, for 7 long days, I've waited till this moment to embarrass the 4 horsemen. Well, Ric Flair, you're the man that's come out here and said, to be the man, you must beat the man. And Barry Windham and Ric Flair and J.J. Dillon, I got a man that can beat all 3 of you with both hands tied behind his back. In just a little bit, Tony, just a little bit.
And stay right where you are. That match coming up right after this time. Set, Ric Flair, Barry Windham against Eddie Gilbert, and you saw they said Mr. Rick.
Where's his partner? Where's the big man, huh?
Well, the partner is not there with him right now, but he has a smile on his face, Jim Ross, so it appears. And the confidence that he talked about, he knows that he's here.
Gilbert looks very, very self-confident right now as we await the arrival of the mystery partner, Mr. X. And we hear the music in the background. That will bring to the ring Eddie Gilbert's mystery partner here, fans. Flair and Windham are anxiously awaiting the arrival of Eddie Gilbert's partner. And Tony, I don't believe what we're seeing here. Jim, that's Rick Steamboat. It's the Dragon. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat will be the partner of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert in this main event. Ric Flair, Barry Windham, in disbelief that Ricky the Dragon Steamboat has arrived. Well, we were told that a masked man signed the contract to wrestle as Gilbert's partner, but this certainly is no masked man here.
Moments ago, it was a very confident trio of Dillon, Flair, and Windham, and now it's 3 men who are very, very concerned, confused, whatever you want to say, but we are set to go.
Flair and Windham Flair, the world's heavyweight champion. Windham, the U.S. champion. The two most prestigious single titles in the sport. And Steamboat will start out against Barry Windham. Collar and elbow tie-up. Nice arm drag by the Dragon. Lightning quick.
One of the greatest attributes of the Horseman has been preparation, has been confidence. Steamboat walking in here to the studios of TBS has taken the confidence and blown it right out of the water.
Windham carefully circling the Dragon. The towering U.S. champion, collar and elbow tie-up. Side headlock by Ricky Steamboat. Sent for the ride. Nice tackle. What movement in this main event. Steamboat is so quick, and he is so powerful. What a scoop slam. What a graceful move. And look at the strength. He has got it all. The strength and the power that has made his name synonymous with success in the squared circle. And the fans here are loving it. And J.J. Dillon, Tony, is certainly beside himself.
When Eddie Gilbert said he had somebody, we thought he had a great athlete. Little did we know he had a legend. That he had one of the premier stars in our sport. And the fans are locked right on the ring watching Ricky Steamboat. That is bewilderment on the face of James J. Dillon.
Listen to Ric Flair. You have no business in here. Flair throws him off. Nice tackle. What contact. What impact on that football tackle from Ricky the Dragon Steamboat on the heavyweight champion of the world. Flair reverses. Oh, what a shot. And he retaliates. And puts Flair on his backside.
With that tackle, he was hovering right over the champion. He fired right back on the world champion. Notice how he just calmly is telling Teddy Long, I'll stay right with him. Give me my distance with him. And he is showing no fear of the world heavyweight champion at all.
Nice tackle by Flair. The heavyweight. Oh, look at the strength. Steamboat just military press. The heavyweight champion of the world. Steamboat has become dominant in this contest, and Flair is irate on the outside of the ring. Ric Flair, a man that is considered by all experts the greatest NWA champion of all time.
Steamboat right there showing the marks of Flair, as Flair can really pound him. Now Steamboat has come down to us.
If you want to play, stay in the sandbox. What a cool, calculated athlete. He is in magnificent condition, which is quite obvious, and he has got a phenomenal confidence level. Eddie Gilbert has pulled off a coup in bringing this man in. It's his partner, and it's getting real physical in there. We knew it would.
Ric Flair, he's firing back on him, and now Jim Ross, it is toe-to-toe in the ring.
Windham comes in, and Steamboat handling both champions. Cracking their skulls together, sends Flair for the ride. High elevation, the champion was in the lights on that move.
Flair, cool customer, went right in the corner and nailed Steamboat.
I mean, blow for blow. These men are competing with a fervor that we have not seen in quite some time in the squared circle. And the Horsemen are having to regroup out here. J.J. Dillon's got to do a masterful job of managing from the sidelines on this one. They had no opportunity to prepare for Ricky Steamboat.
What Ric Flair needs to do, he needs to quit worrying about what he is doing.
Tell him to get back in the sandbox.
Once again, Steamboat looks over towards us, says, tell him to get back in the sandbox. Flair needs to quit worrying about what he is doing here and go after Ricky Steamboat. The shock, I'm sure, is not fully set in to Ric Flair.
Front face lock by the Dragon, goes over and tags in hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. And brother, does this young man have a score to settle with Flair, Windham, and J.J. Dillon. Young Eddie Gilbert pushed back into the corner. Oh, big chop there by the heavyweight champion of the world. But look at Gilbert. He's fighting back with the tenacity of a pit bulldog. And he brings Flair out, flying mare out to the center of the ring. Flying flying head scissors. Frank Flair right down on his head.
And Ric Flair, the great champion, dazed, falling face first. Did he make? No, he didn't. Finally, Barry Windham gets in.
Windham and Gilbert, what a competitive rivalry that has been created with these two men. The competitive juices are really overflowing here. Windham with a right hand, and Gilbert, I don't think he even felt that. They want to fight, and that's what we've got here. It's a Pier 6 brawl, and Gilbert is firing up on the United States heavyweight champion.
The uncertainty, you can see it in the face of Barry Windham. Not that much authority in those blows like there have been, but Eddie Gilbert taking full advantage of the situation. The pressure remains on the Horsemen. They have constantly been backpedaling, been on the retreat since the bell sounded to begin the match.
That's a great point, Tony. The Horsemen normally dictate the pace. And Windham belly to back suplex, dropping Eddie Gilbert on the back of his head. And perhaps that's the maneuver that the Horsemen need to turn the corner and build the momentum in their favor. Big right hand by the native of Sweetwater, Texas. Irish whip, the reversal. Windham went to the corner with a lot of velocity.
Barry Windham's got to wrestle his game, forget about what has gone on before with Eddie Gilbert. Gilbert's got to take it right to Barry Windham. Steamboat gave you the momentum. Gilbert kept it up, but it's very difficult to do when you got the athletes the caliber of the U.S. champion, that man, the world heavyweight champion.
Ric Flair now, I think without a doubt, as hot as Steamboat was at the beginning of the match, they're going to want to keep Gilbert in there now for as long as they possibly can. But the youngster from Lexington, Tennessee, but perhaps the biggest heart in this sport, is fighting back, trading blows with the world champion. Flair upside, inside out, upside down on the apron.
Flair backs away. Gilbert being pushed away. And now, once again, another regroup session. I've never seen the Horsemen have to regroup so many times in any event.
This action is so significant. J.J. Dillon very, very concerned right now, but it's so indicative of the competition in the National Wrestling Alliance. And Flair will now try to really assert himself, Tony. Big chop right to the chest of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, side headlock. Gilbert, though, sends Flair for the ride.
What a great maneuver. Flair, you saw the nod that he made to J.J. Dillon. He was on a roll. Eddie Gilbert turned the tables on him with the leg takedown. And now Steamboat lashing out. Barry Windham is on the floor.
And perhaps more importantly right now, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert has the figure 4 on the heavyweight champion of the world. Yeah, raked right in the eyes there earlier. This is too much. Inside cradle. He's got a pinning predicament. Count 2. And Flair just barely kicked out.
Flair, the master of the figure 4. If anybody knows how to get out of it, it's Ric Flair. Great tag teamwork. The champion held the leg that time of Gilbert, preventing him to get over to get Steamboat, and now the Horseman got to work.
A perfectly executed power slam by the United States heavyweight champion, Barry Windham, and now we are seeing the classic tag team strategy that has become a trademark of the Horsemen on many occasions to basically cut one man from the pack, but Gilbert keeps competing. He keeps fighting to get a near fall.
Gilbert will always look to stand up, Jim. We've known it about Eddie Gilbert for so long. If he goes down, his first thought in his head is, get up. Be it holding the rope, grabbing onto your opponent, or whatever. Eddie Gilbert will not stay down.
High cross body press. Gilbert, another 2 count. And Windham just barely kicked out. He raked the eyes, a blatant infraction of the rules, as the Horsemen desperately tried to assert themselves here. A tag made. Here comes the champion of the world one more time. And Eddie Gilbert is sustaining a great deal of punishment in this big television main event.
Ric Flair in the 1980s has dominated the sport as the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. The reason, he knows momentum. He knows when he has an opponent hurt. He knows when the time is right. He can seize the moment in this sport, and that's exactly what the world champion is doing right now.
Great adjustment by Eddie Gilbert. Another near fall in this youngster. I'll tell you something, I am so impressed with Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. He never says die, I'll tell you that. Flair misses with the elbow. Gilbert just caught him with a thunderous clothesline.
It needs to be a desperation move right now for Eddie Gilbert. He needs to try at best lunge, grab the ropes and make a tag, but Barry Windham cut him off.
Gilbert thrown out here to the concrete floor. A very, very dangerous predicament to be in. Oh, what a chop up. You can hear that all over the facility. Gilbert rammed his shoulder first into the ring post.
As great as athlete as he brought in here with him, Eddie Gilbert, if Gilbert is incapable of making the tag, then it's not going to do him any good. Right now, Gilbert desperately needs to get to the other side.
It's like playing a football game with a team with a great offense. The way you beat them is you keep the offense off the field.
That's right.
And that's what they're trying to do right here with Ricky Steamboat. Keep Steamboat's offense right there where he is on the ring apron. Standing vertical suplex, floating over, lateral press, and Gilbert just barely got the right shoulder up. We're talking a 2.5 here.
Steamboat doing a lot of cheerleading, keeping him pumped up. As you know, motivation is a big part of our sport. As long as Gilbert can keep an ear to that corner, let Steamboat know that he's coming up, and Steamboat in turn let him know that he's on his side.
Powerful right hand by the 6'6" United States heavyweight champion. But look at hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. He will not quit until there's no breath left in his body. Windham, atomic drop, and a clothesline. What a counter move by Gilbert.
It was a desperation move. It was one that took quick thinking, instantaneous thinking, to turn around and know that he had Windham at that right moment. But now, here comes the champion again. And this is when the pain starts.
Double arm suplex. And man, was that perfect, right on target. The heavyweight champion of the world. Perhaps the greatest champion of all time. Just dropped the knee right across the face of hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. This is it. But Gilbert got out of the pending predicament. And everybody, the horsemen, J.J. Dillon included, obviously, astonished at the resiliency of Eddie Gilbert.
Ric Flair is still, as the cliche goes, beside himself. He pushed the referee that time. Steamboat, being in the other side, really had the World Heavyweight Champion's mind elsewhere. But, be that as it may, he still executes those moves with perfection.
Another great suplex by Ric Flair, planting Eddie Gilbert on his head. And Gilbert kicked out. I'll tell you something, if you can't get behind this kid from Lexington, Tennessee, then there's just no emotion. I'll tell you something, he's making his mark right here. Hot stuff Eddie Gilbert, a lesser athlete, would have been pinned a long time ago.
But that does not stop Ric Flair. Even though he had to be disappointed, he calls on Barry Windham. And now, the show of the sign of the Four Horsemen. Right now, Windham, Flair, they think it's all over. Is it? It is not.
Windham very, very frustrated at this point. He and Flair both thought they've had Gilbert down for the 3 count on numerous opportunities. Windham carrying his rival around, inverted atomic drop. A very punishing maneuver. And they have thrown everything at Eddie Gilbert but the proverbial kitchen sink here.
Now they are brimming over with confidence. The high five, they need to go right back to Eddie Gilbert. Maybe too much confidence kicking in here.
Gilbert's quickness paid off there. He moved out of the way. And if Windham would have nailed him without elbow, I'm sure it would have been over.
Yeah, it was Gilbert's quickness, but it was also the procrastination of the horseman. And now here he comes.
Steamboat is tagged in. It's Flair and Steamboat. Both the legal men in the ring. Flair goes to the ride. Flying shoulder block by the Dragon.
As great as champion as Flair's been, I've also wondered, what if he would go up against a guy the caliber of Ricky Steamboat? What would happen? Flair and Steamboat, and now we see him in the ring, going at it toe-to-toe.
Steamboat on fire here, dominating the action. Flair goes to the ride. He's elevated. The heavyweight champion of the world is in deep trouble in this television main event. Steamboat, karate chop right across the head, or a judo chop. Slamming Flair's head to the canvas, and the Dragon is asserting himself here, fighting off both horsemen at this point in time.
The sign of great conditioning, great thought process in the ring. He knows what he wants to do each and every move and what he wants to come back with.
Powerful slam by the Dragon. Ricky Steamboat goes up top. The Dragon is preparing to fly here. High cross body off the top, and he's pinning him in. Ricky Steamboat has just pinned the heavyweight champion of the world. The Dragon has returned to the NWA to pin perhaps the greatest champion of all time. Steamboat and Gilbert are victorious here. Fans will be right back.
Tell you what, gentlemen, in the 4 years I've been on the Superstation, the most exciting moment I've ever witnessed, and I know fans all across the country feel the same way.
Tony Schiavone, all the people, do you remember the movie, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance? Well, I got the man who beat the NWA World Heavyweight Champion on television. Welcome back to NWA, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I set out probably the longest campaign of my wrestling career. I've always had a quest in my life, and that was to be a world champion. I ventured all around the world, even with other different federations.
Right.
But I came back to my home, right here. Let's roll that film.
Yeah, let's take a look at it, Ricky.
take a look at it.
Once again, fans across the country, I know you want to see this moment once again. And here it is, Ricky. Eddie, right now, the Horsemen really know how to punish a man, as you know.
That's okay, but they got the man that just beat on and beat on all that time. It gave Ricky time enough to stand over there and figure out what for him to do if he got in the ring with either Barry or Ric Flair.
You know, I've got to give credit where credit's due. This man, Eddie Gilbert, took an unbelievable amount of punishment. Right here, using his common sense. When you see a man 270 pounds, 12 feet up in the air, what are you going to do? You're going to move.
Right.
And you're going to move with the last ounce of breath in your body. They made a tag with a fresh man, but Eddie was there for me, and here we go again. Ric Flair and myself, just like it was 5 years ago. One more time, and brother, I'm telling you, Rick, it feels so good.
You know, Ricky, I think a tribute to you. You knew exactly what you were doing each and every move, and right here when you got the tag in.
Well, I'll tell you something right now. I've had some time off. I've had a little boy come into my life. He's been the thing of the last past year. But right now, he is that son of mine. One of the major reasons why I came back to the NWA. I want to secure his future, and to do that, I've got to win the World Heavyweight Championship. I've got to do that.
There's no greater motivation than that right there, and I think all the fans can understand that. Right here, you really asserted yourself, Ricky. You knew exactly what you were doing against a man that's considered the greatest champion of all
Hey,
time.
I'm breaking some rules right there. I grabbed a handful of hair. Hey, but I've been watching these two guys do it for the last 12 years. And I think what goes around comes around, and it's a vicious cycle out there. That world is a vicious cycle. I'm going up there right now with one thing in mind, and that is to pin the World Heavyweight Champion right now.
You did.
And I'm going to pin this man.
Right there.
Grab that leg, hold on tight, and the referee counts 3.
What a dynamic move from Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and the fans were just in shock. As we said, the greatest heavyweight champion of all time, pinned right here on national television.
Once again, I'd like to thank the fans, the NWA fans, for the years of support that they still gave me when I was away from you guys. It's like coming home. It's like family.
Here,
Okay, Eddie, go ahead.
I could have went out, and there's a lot of men that came up to me to be my partner when I was against Ric Flair and Barry Windham. There's a lot of people out there in wrestling I could have picked, but there's only one man in my mind that can beat Ric Flair, and that's Ricky Steamboat. And I'm very proud to have you a partner today. Thank you very much, Ricky.
Well, I'll tell you something. The fans I know are going to be talking. This, perhaps fans, we know with the Super Bowl on the horizon, this is the biggest sports news that we have been a part of. Now, wait just a minute.
What is this? You got no business here. None whatsoever. What do you think you're doing?
This is America. This is an equal opportunity country. I've made my negotiations with Crockett and Ted Turner, and I'm here. And
Mr. X, what do you call that
I'm here to
negotiation?
stay.
This will never go down in the record book.
Hey, I've been listening to you talk for the last 10 years of how great every single one of your men are, and Mr. X shouldn't even have bothered you. Come on.
What do you mean, shut up out of this? Never taken place. The match should have never taken place. It was a scheme to keep us from preparing. We're not afraid of Ricky Steamboat. We didn't wrestle him. Just tell us his name so we can prepare for it. We weren't prepared for this. This will never get out of the record book. It'll never stand for sheer luck. Do you understand something? I'm a multi-millionaire. And this doesn't happen. Millionaire. We don't walk out here. Our days are planned. They're scheduled. They're detailed. If I'm to wrestle Rick Steamboat, if he's to wrestle Steamboat, we know about an advance. Or it's just you shut up. I'm the world champion. But Ray, what do you think of this? Steamboat, you come on here. Oh, classy. As if the world were yours. I don't care if you got a kid and a wife. Doesn't wrestling. Don't walk out here milking the public. You're here for my belt, and you aren't gonna get it. Woo!
My gosh. I'll tell you what, fans, don't forget the NWA main event coming up next. Don't go away, and we'll be back in just a few moments.
Oh, wow.